That ice cream in your freezer right now isn't a treat? It's a lie you've been sold since childhood. Every weekend across Australia, families scoop it into bowls, hand it to kids, and call it harmless. Creamy, classic comfort food. But here's what no one tells you. Most ice cream sold today isn't built around cream anymore. It's built around shortcuts. Oils replacing dairy, additives replacing texture, flavor systems replacing real ingredients, all designed to feel rich while costing less to make. And the most dangerous part? The smoother it feels, the more people trust it. Premium labels lower your guard. Familiar brands stop you from checking what's actually inside. This isn't about being dramatic. It's about realizing that what looks like a simple dessert has quietly turned into an ultra-processed product that doesn't behave like food used to. Once you see how these ice creams are made, you'll never look at that freezer tub the same way again. Brand 1 Streets Ice Cream. Streets is the ice cream brand most Australians grew up with, and that nostalgia is exactly what protects it from scrutiny. This is the tub people trust for family desserts, kids' treats, and weekend comfort. It feels familiar, safe, almost automatic. But Streets ice cream today is not built the way people imagine. What looks like a creamy dairy dessert is often engineered using vegetable oils, stabilizers, and emulsifiers to recreate the texture that real cream used to provide. The smoothness you feel isn't proof of quality, it's proof of processing. The bigger issue is expectation. People assume a brand this established wouldn't cut corners. But mass production demands consistency and cost control, not simplicity. That's how ice cream quietly shifts from a dairy-based treat to an ultra-processed product designed to feel indulgent while using cheaper inputs. Streets didn't become deceptive overnight. It became deceptive because people stopped questioning it. Brand 2, Peter's Ice Cream. Peter's markets itself as real, wholesome ice cream, the kind you associate with family nights and classic Aussie desserts. The branding leans heavily on simplicity and tradition, which makes people assume what's inside the tub hasn't changed much over time. But that assumption doesn't hold up. Modern Peter's ice cream is engineered for consistency at scale, to achieve that smooth, scoopable texture year-round. Formulations rely on stabilizers, emulsifiers, and processing tricks that replace what real dairy naturally does. The result feels creamy, but that creaminess is manufactured, not earned through simple ingredients. What makes this more deceptive is how ordinary it feels. Because Peter's doesn't present itself as premium or extreme, people never think to check the label. It's treated as normal ice cream, used often, and trusted completely. That's how ultra-processed desserts quietly become part of routine family food, not an occasional treat. Brand 3, Connoisseur. Connoisseur is marketed as the sophisticated choice. Rich flavors, indulgent texture, and a premium price tag that signals quality. People assume that if an ice cream costs more, it must be closer to the real thing. Creamier, better, more authentic. That's the illusion. Behind the elegant branding, Connoisseur relies on the same industrial techniques as mass-market brands. Stabilizers and emulsifiers are used to engineer that ultra-smooth texture and prevent melting issues, allowing consistency across every tub. What feels luxurious on the tongue is often the result of processing, not purer ingredients. The premium positioning makes this brand especially deceptive. Because it looks indulgent and refined, people trust it more and question it less. It's treated as a better dessert, even though the ingredient strategy isn't fundamentally different, just dressed up with flavor. Sophistication and price. Connoisseur isn't selling simplicity. It's selling perception. Brand for Bula. Bula leans hard on its dairy heritage. The branding suggests farms, cream, and tradition, the kind of ice cream people feel comfortable giving to kids without a second thought. When a brand markets itself as family dairy, people stop questioning what's inside. But scale changes everything. To maintain uniform texture, shelf stability, and year-round consistency, Bula relies on modern processing aids like stabilizers and emulsifiers that replace what simple cream would naturally do. The ice cream feels smooth and reliable, but that reliability is engineered, not artisanal. What makes this especially deceptive is the positioning. Because Bula doesn't scream premium or processed, it slips under the radar, feels wholesome and everyday, which encourages frequent use. That's how ultra-processed desserts become routine, not occasional. Heritage doesn't automatically mean simplicity. In mass production, it often means tradition on the outside and industrial shortcuts on the inside. Brand 5 Weiss Ice Cream. Weiss positions itself as the better ice cream, fruit-based, lighter, and somehow cleaner than traditional tubs. Sorbet and fruit bar branding makes people assume fewer shortcuts, fewer additives, and a more natural product. That assumption is exactly what lowers people's guard. The reality is more complicated. To maintain texture, shelf life, and that smooth, scoopable consistency, Weiss products still rely on processing techniques and stabilizing systems that move them far away from simple fruit and water. The sweetness is engineered, the mouthfeel is controlled, and the final product behaves more like a manufactured dessert than a fresh one.
Oh.
What makes Weiss deceptive is the health halo. Because it doesn't look creamy or indulgent, people treat it as a safer choice, something they can have more often without guilt. That's how ultra-processed desserts sneak into regular routines. Under the label of lighter, Weiss isn't selling fresh fruit. It's selling the idea of freshness. Brand 6, Supermarket Premium Ice Cream Most Deceptive. This is the most deceptive ice cream category on Australian shelves, not because it's rare, because it looks like the smart choice. Matte tubs. Minimalist fonts, where it's like crafted, creamy Belgian chocolate. It's designed to feel upscale while costing less than real premium brands. But here's the truth. Supermarket premium ice creams are engineered for margin, not quality. To keep prices low and texture flawless, these tubs rely heavily on stabilizers, emulsifiers, and processing shortcuts that mimic richness without using enough real cream. The smoothness feels indulgent, but it's manufactured. What makes this category especially dangerous is trust. People assume store brands would cut corners on basics, not on premium lines. That assumption lowers scrutiny. These tubs get treated as better desserts, even though they're often the most aggressively processed of all. This isn't premium ice cream. It's a branding upgrade on cheap formulation.
By now, one thing should be obvious. Ice cream isn't the simple dairy treat most Australians think it is anymore. What's sold as creamy, classic, or even premium has quietly shifted into something else entirely. An ultra-processed dessert engineered for texture, shelf life, and profit. This isn't about never eating dessert again. It's about understanding that the smoothness, richness, and indulgence you're feeling often come from stabilizers, emulsifiers, and shortcuts, not from real cream or simple ingredients. And when that becomes invisible, consumption stops being occasional and starts becoming routine. The biggest deception isn't the ingredients. It's familiarity, brands you grew up with, labels that feel comforting, premium words that lower your guard. Once you stop trusting the branding and start checking what's actually inside, these products become impossible to unsee. Real ice cream doesn't need tricks. And when it does, it's time to ask why. Now I want to hear from you. Which brand on this list surprised you the most? Is there one sitting in your freezer right now that you'll look at differently after this? Drop a comment and share your experience. It helps more people rethink what they're buying. And if you want more breakdowns exposing what's really inside everyday foods Australians trust, make sure you're subscribed. Because once you see how these products are made, you stop buying on comfort and start buying with awareness.